Hello, and you're welcome to How Books Are Made. And I'll be walking you through from manuscripts to market ready products. But before we start, I've put a question before you. What controls, or yeah, no what? Who controls the production workflow? Is it the editor, the designer, or the production manager? And how do they do this? How? I need the how. I need the how. Share with me. Let me know. I'd want you guys to be reading one another. Read other people's response so that you can learn from it. What you know, others don't know. What others know, you may not know. So please read from others. Read from others. Keep your eyes on the chat. Engage. If you can pick up or figure out anybody's gotten something wrong, please do well to correct them or share what you think. Okay? Now, let's move. Okay? Good. All right. You're welcome. So, I'd like to bring your attention that we've spent a couple of weeks, working on editing manuscripts. Imagine this, that you've spent your time doing all this editing. You've spent your time correcting grammars. You've spent your time ensuring that it is structurally all right and everything looks ready. Then it enters production and suddenly everything begins to break. Pages doesn't align. Formatting is inconsistent. The fonts are jumping here and there. Costs increased. Deadlines is slipping away. Not because the content is weak, but just because the system was not understood. In today's lecture, we'll be answering a critical question, which is, how does a manuscript actually become a book? And in fact, a well-edited manuscript does not automatically become a good book, because editing and publication lies in a complex system known as production. This production is not just input output. It's not as easy as it is. The system determines whether your work is delivered efficiently, accurately, or at the required standard. So in this lecture, we're examining that. So I hope you're ready for this very big one. Now, boom. Let's see. What do we have? We're looking at this. And again, we're trying to move transcript from markets, from the manuscript to markets, M to M here, ready product. And that's what you're also doing. Now I wanted to answer this question. Answer this question. Attempt this question. Attempt this question. So guys, keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. I'm going to change the slide. Oh, I didn't want to do that. So let's stay on here. I'm going to change it when I'm ready. Data is burning. All right. So, into today's class, we'll be looking at the following objectives. By the end of today's session, we should be able to achieve the following. We'll be able to understand the structure of the production department, and then we'll identify the key roles, responsibilities, and we'll learn how manuscript move through the various stages. Does this make sense? How it moves through the various stages. Now, we introduce cost, time, and quality constraints, which is very important. So I would say today's class is about systems. It is not just about skills. Think of in terms of process, efficiency, and coordination. The objectives are intentionally operational rather than theoretical. Hmm? You understand that? So by the end of the lecture, you will be able to describe manuscripts, how they move from editorial handover to the final output. You'll be able to identify who is responsible for each of the stages, and you'll be able to explain why the production failures often originate in the earlier editorial stages. Because it is what you bring in that you get out. I would encourage you all to, try as much as possible to engage this lecture to the maximum. It will pay you. So don't just do this in writing and just understanding concepts. Start thinking in practical. Start thinking application. Start thinking practice. Imagine yourself in the industry and start positioning your mind in a place where it can make a maximum impact. In professional publishing environments, clarity of workflow is key. It reduces production error. It reduces it significantly. In fact, it is only those books which is like self-publication, which haven't gone through a process of refining, which hasn't gone through a system that you see with errors. So if you have seen any book full of errors, how many of you have seen books full of errors? Can you put it in the chat? Have you read any book where you see blank pages, error on this, typographical error? How many of you have seen books like that? How many of you have seen books with errors? Books with errors. How many of you have seen books with errors? How many of you have seen books with errors? So now I'm asking this question. What came to your mind? How did you feel? Did you think they have done the right thing? Or do you think that you are irresponsible and they don't care about you, that you're going to read it? Think about this. How did you feel? Imagine taking your hard-earned money to buy book and then they're full of errors. How did you feel? Someone said they feel annoyed, angry. Someone said it just felt they made mistake. So I'm just pinning your chat now. I felt angry and annoyed. How did this book get published in the first place? So the more chats you start seeing some of those things, yeah, you felt bad for them actually. Another person felt bad for them actually. Okay. Frustrated, disappointed. Frustrated, disappointed. Typographical error. Thoughtful. Thoughtful. Okay. Yeah. This one said, I've seen book with errors. When I saw the first error, I thought like, oh, maybe it was a mistake. But when I saw the error became too much, I was so disappointed. Good, good, good. So please read your chart before you send them, because I'm going to push it live. So I would feel annoyed, but then if the plot is good, I might ignore it. Oh, well, that's not still the best anyway. So I feel like the translator didn't know how to use the right word. Okay, okay. Oh, say my first thought was like, what sort of book was this? My thought was like, what sort of? So yeah, I've seen books with errors. That's okay. So there are more and more and more conversations around that. It is not good. Now think about yourself. You have gone to school. You are a professional. You are expected to be smart. You are expected to people expect more from you. So you shouldn't put yourself in a situation where you'll be making mistakes. Where you will be making mistakes. So you, as a communication professional, there is more expectation from you. There is more expectation from you. So professional don't make mistake just like that. In fact they make very few mistakes. Okay, all right. Let's move. So today, like I mentioned, we'll be doing something quite interesting, engaging, and then hopefully, let's see how far God can help us. All right. So production is a process, and look, is a process in publishing, and it involves the conversion of manuscripts, processing of raw material into a final product, and there are core outputs that you can have. But before we get on to the core outputs, I'd like to also call your attention to the fact that you don't just jump from manuscript to conclusion. You understand what I mean? You don't just do that. It passes through a refining process. You do some intellectual work. You make something that is not substantial become substantial and tangible. The production is where the intellectual work becomes a tangible or digital product. So production is the transformation of manuscripts. It goes through the different layers of publishing systems. At a certain stage, the content is no longer being improved in terms of language and arguments. I've talked about copy editing, proofreading, sub-editing, line editing. Instead of it is being structured, it is being standardized, it is being organized and engineered for a output, for a kind of audience. So the key conceptual shift here is that production is not a creative interpretation. It is a controlled transformation under constraints, meaning that you can't just change what the author have written. Sorry, my video. You can't just change what the author have written. Think of it as converting a raw intellectual asset into a manufacturable object. That object may be physical, print, like a book, physical books. Yeah, like this one. Yeah, this is one of my inheritance from my father. No, it's a very old hymnal, and I can see he is written his name on it, and I see this is as old as what year is that again? As old as 1980 something. Yes, 1987. This is the physical asset. Now, this book was produced way long before I was born. It was a collection of books written by multiple of people over the years. You understand that? And now I have it in physical assets. It is a book, and I treasure it now. And we have digital book, like the one I've shared with you, the ebook, the one you downloaded. But I need to know who is downloading it. That's why you needed to fill a form. Just the same way, someone who is selling us who are those reading the book. Africa, we're not big on data, but in developed crime, they are big on data. We want to know who is reading so that we can track the kind of readers one is engaging. So in both cases, it must conform to strict technical specification. They are standard book size. Like my co-lecturer has shared with you in the last offline lecture. Yeah, I'll say, is it? Yeah, on the Telegram conversation. Sorry. So now he shared that there are dimensions. There are A4 size, there are A5 size, there's 6 by 9. There are different dimensions of book. There is large format book and more. There are different dimensions. But all you need to do is to ensure that the manuscript works well, is formatted appropriately, and channeled through the right layout to ensure that it engages the right audience. And what are your outputs? Print ready, like I've mentioned, digital formats. Now, in digital format, you have different versions, which I expect you guys to, work around. One format is PDF. The other format is EPUB. For those of you that will do EPUB, it should be extra point for you. And if you give me PDF and EPUB, that will be boom, double extra mark for you. So try as much as possible, not just to do this, know it, and let others actually understand how it works. PDF works in a certain way, EPUB works a certain way. There is one of them that you are able to, use text to speech for seamlessly. There's one of them. One of these two are easily adaptable because it has a flex function. When you increase the fonts, the pages increase. When you reduce the font, the pages decrease. Some of you have had this experience. This is what they call interactive experience. So that someone who has eye deficiency or eye problem is unable to read small letters or is not comfortable with big letters, they're able to adjust it for their own use. So one of these formats. So your ability to repurpose content really matters. Okay. All right. Let's go. Now, I would like to also take you to the pipeline, production workflow, the pipeline. We have the manuscript. We are handed over the manuscript. You've been assigned your group works and you're already looking out for how you can get your manuscript ready and more. So, and I'm happy with the fact that we've gone through a thorough emailing process training in the course of this because you'll be communicating with professional audience. I can imagine how you will be communicating now. Imagine if you haven't been taken through the processes of writing a proper email. You'll just be sending out emails that will embarrass the institution itself. And when you're doing that, try as much as possible to use your official email. It's very important that you send it through that, which is more respected. Now, I will tell you more about the importance of using your official communication channels. It takes you where you can't even imagine. So, secondly, beyond the manuscript handover, copy edit integration. You have to also integrate the copy editor into the workflow to ensure that they are helping the manuscript to be better. And the third thing is typesetting. Typesetting is someone who collects the manuscript, put it together, You understand? And make it presentable in the desired format. Either PDF, EPUB, print, depending on the dimensions of sizes, lay it out, decide where the pictures goes, where the text go, and more. Let me know if you're getting me. Are you following with me? Are you flowing with me? Are you flowing with me? Let me know. I want to be sure I'm not alone on this. Are you flowing with me? Are we together? Hmm. Yes, by official email, the email given to you by your institution, please. Evidence of life, evidence of life. Say yes, sir, that you're following me. Okay, now typesetting has been done by somebody who took the manuscript and arranged it in the format. Now the proofreader comes in. The proofreader now looks at what the typesetter have done. Has he not altered, affected what has been edited? Or are there any other error that I can find in the course of this process? Now, if there are any identified, it is no longer going to manuscripts. You are going to take it from the typesetter again. Typesetter, you pick the corrections done at proofreading stage, is being put and sent to the typesetter to ensure that they enforce it. That's where correction happens. You're working on the dummy. They call it the dummy or the galley proof. You understand? Galley proof or dummy, depending on what you call it. Or some people also call it camera ready. Camera ready copy. Camera ready is that exactly how it will look like when it is published. Yeah. If you see people with crown in the comments, it means they're the one ranking high. So engage well. Engage well. Show that you are truly learning. And then after the corrections, it goes to production. It goes to print. When I say production, it goes to print. It goes to the press. Oh. When you say start again, what do you need me to start? What do you need me to start? Okay. Final output. You can always come back to replay. The final outputs could be print, it could be electronic. Now, this is a linear pipeline. It goes like it's a straight line. The only time it loops, which I have not put in diagram here, is where you are proofreading. You have to loop it back to typesetter. You loop it back to the typesetter, meaning that any correction you pick, there's a loop between proofreading, correction, typesetting. There's a loop there before it then goes to the final output. If I had a way of sharing my tab screen, I could have. At some point, I'm going to introduce what we call um, the Vid Ninja kind of intro. You bring in your video into the session for engagement. But we just let's keep it at this for now. I was trying to share my screen, but I don't think I can do my share my tab screen. I wanted to draw the loop. Yeah. Okay, let's go on. What are the key roles in production departments? I'll do that loop and this sharing in my next Beyond Lectures session. That is going to happen on Saturday, 6 p.m. If you're interested in building your skills and transforming all these lectures into actionable insight beyond what we are doing here, come there. They are not connected stuff, but they are also connected. Not connected by institution, but they are connected by purpose. All right. What are the key roles in production departments? One, production manager. That's a role. You can become a production manager because you have taken this course. You can become a typesetter because you've taken this course. You can become a book designer because you have taken this course. You can become a proofreader because you've taken this course. You can become a printer, a digital distributor because you have taken this course. Meaning that by taking this course alone, you can become an employable person in these 5 areas. Oh, someone put it in the chat. Which of these do you want to become? Which of these do you think you are capable of becoming because you are taking this course? Which of these do you think you are capable of becoming because you are taking this course? Put it in the chat. Do you think you are capable of becoming course? Now I need to prove it myself. Okay. Okay. A book designer, production manager. You see, look at people that we are building here. Look at people we are building here. Typesetter, please, sir. Can that work in the bank? Why do you want to work in the bank? What do you want to go and do in the bank? I need to understand. You need to be at my session, please. Come over there so that we can work out your pathway. Typesetter can work with bank. They can work with bank, but it depends on what do they want to be doing in the bank. So it depends on what they want to be doing in the bank. So we see book provider, production manager, book designer. Now I'm spotlighting some people there. So capable of becoming production manager. That's good. That's good. I see a lot of managers here. I'm building leaders here, right? So Radiat wants to become production manager, a proofreader. Okay, Sorting wants to become a production manager. Okay, print and distributors. Now, for each of you, if you are truly serious about what you want to become, after this lecture, write me an email. Tell me what you already know, what you wish to start doing, and what question you have. I would like to become a bridge to help you become what you want to become. So Adelekan said, I'm capable of becoming production manager, proofreader. Yeah, good. Good. All right. So digital distributor, that is good. Digital distribution, we might have some business to do. So book designer, proofreader, bam bam. Well done. That's a good point there. So this is it. Start thinking about it. Say it. When you say it, it becomes life. You start living it. You start working towards it. Sierra says, I'm thinking of becoming a production manager or proofreader. That's good. Book designer, Jolene. That's good. Okay, okay. All right, we have proofreader here. A proofreader. Well done. I must not find mistake in your group work. Okay. Precious one go say like I can be a book designer. It's pretty work. Nice. Yeah, pretty work indeed. All right. So get on. All right. So let's move. Let's move. Oh, can I find my slide? As a production manager, now for all of you who have said you want to become a production manager, aha, it's time for real talk. It is time for real talk. It is time for real talk. Look at it. These are your responsibilities. If you are a production manager and your group work at this time, you need to know how to schedule. Yes, ask about the budgets, budget control, quality coordination, cross-team communication, because the teams have to be talking to one another. The team have to be talking to one another. The team have to be talking to one another. And If you are not engaging, talking to one another, there will be disconnection. You won't understand yourself completely. There will be mistakes because there will be gap. So write this down. If for those who said I want to become project manager, type it down that I have to be responsible scheduler, budget controller, quality coordination, cross communication officer. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. All right. So this is the production triangle. There are three things you look at on the production side. Oh, I think I'd like to say some things more about being a production manager. Being a production manager is being an effective project system architect. The primary concern is not the content itself, but it is whether the project is deliverable on time. If you're starting up a project and the author wants it published at a certain time, is it deliverable? These are the questions you answer. You ask the question whether the budget is enough or whether the budget constraints are being respected in all of the plannings. You have a restricted budget, but you want to have a spine cover where you hire an art designer who will design a special art for the book cover. And the art designer said it will take certain time. Does it respect the project? Which department is aligned the most and which is deviating? You have to know so that you can bring them to an alignment. Whether each department is aligned in sequence. And in real publishing house, delays often occur not because of poor editing, but because of poor coordination. That's why you see mistakes sometimes. This role requires system thinking. Put it down, system thinking, system thinking, system thinking. Put it down, write it down, put it in the chat, put it in your notes, system thinking. I will encourage you guys, write with your pen and paper. Write with your pen and paper. At this stage, write with your pen and paper. Put down the word system thinking. Let me see if I can use my highlighter. System thinking. So under this place where we have quality coordination, we have system thinking. Oh, that's not the best of things. System thinking. Good, good. I'm waiting for the person that will spell it right first. Okay. I can pin it. Good. System thinking. System thinking. Exactly. System thinking. So what is system thinking? What is system? Who can guess? What is system thinking? Put it in the chat. No, it is understanding. I'm not going to define it here. I won't fall for that temptation. What is system thinking? It requires system thinking. Because as a production manager, you need to be able to understand the dependencies between the tasks, between the anticipated bottlenecks. If the production manager fails, the entire pipeline becomes very unstable. It fails too, regardless of how strong the editorial work is. Okay, someone said ability to work, ability to understand how the system works. Exactly. Exactly. That's what we're talking about. Good. Good. So system thinking. All right. Good. I'll move on. Let's move on. There are three things you have to be mindful of. I like this definition too. I like this too. System thinking is a way of understanding things by looking at the whole system, not just individual parts. Another person says that system thinking is seeing how different parts of the whole are connected and how they affect each other instead of looking at them separately. No, I know some of you have engaged AI. It's a good way to use it. At least now you know. You understand? It's the ability to see different parts. Another person, another saying system thinking is the ability to see how different parts of a process work together as one complete system. I will encourage you guys to change your handles to reflect your name. It's good because a time will come later in the future where you will need to secure a name for yourself and a reputation for yourself. And you'll see that your name has been chosen. So take note of that. Marvelous and Augustus' ability to see the entire production process as one connected ecosystem instead of a separate random task. System thinking, it means looking at the entire publishing process as a single system, not separate ones. System thinking is a way of making sense of complexities of word by looking at it in terms of whole relationship rather than splitting it into parts, making sense. Lovely. Again, this one said, system thinking is a way of understanding how things work by looking at the whole instead of just individual part. Okay, that's a repetition of what we had before. Let's just understand how the system works. Yeah, that's system thinking. But now let's focus. Let's come back to production triangle. In order for you to produce anything, you need time, you need money, and you have to ensure that it is quality. That makes what makes you professional. The quality of this lecture is determined by the amount of time I've put into it. It is also determined by the costs because this is money. This is money. This is data. Now I'm putting out value. You see, time, costs, and quality, they are all connected. For you to also get value, you need to have data for you to assess value. Because if something plays in, and we're just going to diverge a little, there's what they call internet poverty, data poverty. If you don't have access or freely be able to access internet, that is a level of poverty. Because it will deny you your ability to be able to access educational content. And if you are one of those who have access to data and you use it doing something else, you'll be on your own. All right, let me put on my star contributor here. My second star, this is my number one star here. System thinking is trying to decipher how a process or concept work. That's the number one person in this conversation today. And Elegosa says system thinking analyzes how editors, authors, marketing, production, and distribution along with external factors like market trend influence each other, enabling publishers to identify bottlenecks. This person has nailed it all. Person nailed it all. This is my number the number two person in this conversation today. And yeah, and then we have the number one on this chat here, which is Peter Miracle. Peter Miracle would like to see a photograph. All right, so let's keep this in. Well done, guys. Well done, guys. I'm enjoying this. I'm learning from you guys. You're teaching me. So now, this is the foundational constraint in model in production environments. The principle of is very simple, like I've explained it. But the cost increases or the quality, if you reduce time, okay, if you reduce time, the cost will increase because you have to pay for how much of time people will put into it without resting, or the quality will reduce. So you can't do so much and give so much quality in less time. You can't have a quality class like this in a very short time, except if you just want a watered down outline. So if you prioritize quality, either time or cost must increase. So once the quality increases, the cost will increase, the time will increase, just like the time that I have put in for this lecture is increasing. The cost is increasing, and that's why quality is there, because I have prioritized quality. Now, this is not theoretical. If you're going to produce a book and you want an high-end book with hardcover, those normal hardcover that now have a wrap, and then when you want to sell it to a client, you want to package it, that is high quality. You need enough time to give all of the branding agencies to do their work, for the person who is finishing the job to finish it well. And you know you'll be paying a lot of money. It's a triangle. They are connected. Time, cost, quality. This is not theoretical. It is operational. Students, you should understand that production decisions are not always trade-off. There is no scenario where all three variables are maximized simultaneously under real-world situation. One will have to go for one. One must be prioritized. If you prioritize costs, then you may get less quality. If you have so much less budget, let's say you have a budget of 500,000 and you want to make a book, your quality will be compromised. If you have 5 million naira budget, we know we have time. Will you be able to buy more time and then your quality will be fine? Think about this. Once quality increases, time and cost will also have to increase. It is an economics. It's like a law of demand and supply. Once demand increases, what will happen to supply? And when supply increases, what will happen to demand? Opposite. When there's so much supply, there will be less demand. When there's so much demand, there will be less supply. But there will have to be a point of equilibrium. That's why you need to work with market analysis, work with market data. So as a production person, you need to know what the market is saying so that you are not preparing and packaging a product for a market that doesn't exist. You'll be frustrated in the market. This is especially relevant in academic publishing, where budgets are often fixed, but the quality expectation remains high. Time, cost, quality. The production triangle. Time, cost, quality. The production triangle. Somebody type it there. Time, costs, quality. The production triangle. When you say it yourself. Time, costs, quality is the production triangle. I'm just going to give you a snippet. This is not just for production. Apply it to your life. You want to get quality in your life, you need a lot of time to invest in yourself, and you need to put a lot of money investing in yourself. It is a principle of life, and it applies to material things. If you want a quality material, then you have to put quality time, put quality money. Time, costs, quality, the costs, the production triangle. Yeah, thank you very much, Balogun Esther, for putting that. Let me look for you. Oh, yep, I got that. Yeah, your chat was running away. All right. Time, cost, quality, the production triangle. Yes. The production triangle, time, cost, quality. Good. Nice. There. Now it's sinking in. It's sinking in. You won't forget it. Don't worry. You won't forget it. I'm expecting a lot of excellent students here. I mean, A students here. Okay, let's move on. Now, let's take a look at time. Now, faster means higher costs. Faster means higher costs. Faster means higher costs. Cheaper means lower quality. I'll be writing it down. Cheaper means lower quality. Now, higher quality means more time. Higher quality means more time. Higher quality means more time. You guys, I still don't know how to use capital letters, initial caps. You're writing all small case. You are being trained to become professional. Start writing like one. Okay? Yeah. Start writing like one. Good. Faster means is equals to what? Higher quality. Higher cost, sorry. Cheaper is equals to what? Lower quality. Higher quality is equals to more time. So if you want a higher quality of life personally, you need more time. For you to have higher quality in your book production, in your book output, you need time. So in your project, you need to commit time. Faster, higher costs. Faster, higher costs. Yes. Cheaper, lower quality. Cheaper, lower quality. Cheaper, lower quality. Good. Cheaper is equals to lower quality. Now, there's a punctuation error in this one. You need a space before you're equals to. Yeah. So faster is higher cost. Cheaper, lower quality. Let's see who gets it right first. Cheaper, lower quality. Okay. Okay, yeah, let's go. Cheaper, lower quality. Type it, type it. Higher quality is equals to more time. Higher quality is equals to more time. Higher quality is equals to more time. Okay, good. Let's move on. Now, what is cast off? We're going to cast off. Cast off. Who can guess what is cast off? Let's see who gets it first. What is cast off? From what you can see now, what is cast off? What is cast off? What is cast off? What is cast off? Can someone pick the mistake in my question right now? Oh, if you say no idea, Peter Miracle, this is the time for you to quickly do research. This is the time for you to quickly do research. I don't expect in this age and time for anybody to say no idea. What is your Google working for? What is cast off? Cast off is a process of estimating the number of printed pages a manuscript will occupy once typeset. That is smart. Is what is built is in publishing is where you estimate how long a manuscript will be once it is laid out. Good. Now you use predictive tools to do this. Cast off is the process of estimating how many pages manuscript will take after typesetting. When you do this, then you are able to calculate. Yeah, this is a very good point here. Very good point here. So guys, write it out, write it out. This is a very, very good point. Cast off is the process of calculating the numbers of pages a manuscript will occupy after typesetting, based on factors such as fonts, page size, spacing, layout, images, and more. This is a very good definition, guys. Write it down. Okay. May examine you based on this. All right. So let's move it. Let's move it. All right. Cast off is equals to estimating. Again, take note of this. Is estimating final page count before typesetting, what it will look like after typesetting. Okay, that's simple. Now I want you to take a moment. Have you guys done any cast off estimation in your project? Ask yourself these questions and do this afterward. Guys, this is the time we've been waiting for. Let's check in. Remember, the moment you check in, put an eye on your mail immediately. Cast off is basically layout calculation used by let me see if I can pick that. Okay, this is a good another one. More. So let's start checking in. All right, I'm gonna make the screen bigger. Once you have checked in, type check in. Once you have checked in, type check in. Checked in. So good. For you that have checked in, check your email. Okay. All right. So moving on. Moving on. As soon as okay, don't worry about it. Just calm down. Let me myself check it. So I've just checked in and I got a code. So you should have a code. So your code should look like something like this. Oh, let's see. should look something like that. Yeah. Okay. Don't forget, don't get yourself in trouble. Don't send link to anybody. Don't help anyone. Just focus. Focus. You will receive an email. Don't worry. Just ensure your email that you enter is correct. So let's move on to our next action. All right. Boom. What are the common production failures? The common production failures. The common production failures is when there is poor file organization. When there is poor file organization, it becomes a bottleneck. Bottleneck becomes bottleneck. If you're unable to use the Google form, you need to use your institutional email. You need to use your institutional email. Okay. Now, the first production failure is when you are not organized, you don't have version control system. Well, when we talk about version control system, version control system means that you are able to track each version. And that is why it's good to turn on track changes that I've taught you before. Suggesting edits and helping people to know what has happened over the time. Okay. Ensure to sign in using your institutional email. That's the only thing that works. All right. Poor and inconsistent styling is another another common failure. So let's take this again. The common production failures are poor file organization, inconsistent styles, unresolved queries. Unresolved queries. Remember in your track changes. Okay. If there is a problem with accessing institutional email, um, let's anyone with a link floating. Yeah, anyone can do it now. Go on, flood it, refresh your pages, and then you get it. Refresh your pages. Don't worry, don't worry. I've taken care of that now. I've taken care of that now. So we are still at the check-in point. We're still at the check-in point. So I'll just give you some time. Guys, check in. Check in. Refresh your page and you'll be able to check it. All right. I see that majority of you have come in. Yeah. So take your time. Is a worker. The system is a worker. So as it is queuing, as you have sent it, it's going to be sending it one after the other. Don't worry. I've got a system in place. Don't worry. If you don't have access to it, I will know. And I have all your generated codes. I can see all of them right here. So there's no problem about that. I have all the generated code. I've got the passcode registry here, and I can see all of them. Yeah, so it's one code per person per time. Everything is unique. So you can't, if you transfer your code or give it to anybody, that's the end of you. You understand what I mean? So ensure that you know what you're doing. Focus and let's move on. Okay, now let's go on to what I was saying before, and I'm just going to start it afresh. Okay, good. Lovely. Once you receive the email, you can acknowledge that you've received the email. Okay, let's go. Now, look at this. There are some certain things that when you do, there's no doubt you already prepared yourself for failure. And one of those things is when you are not organized. When you are not organized, you already prepared yourself to fail. It can be a daunting task. In fact, in your group work now, you would have started experiencing such kind of thing because you need to be organized to be up to date, to be up to speed. And I will encourage you guys to explore the option of having what we call shared drive, Google Drive. Use Google Drive for your documentation to ensure that you don't lose anything, and use the permission function to restrict, yeah, to restrict the flow. So I'm just getting my writing pad so that I'll be able to make the most of my. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Not responding yet. Okay. Let's go. I want to explain some things. So let's get back on here. So for file organization, it is important that you are able to organize your files appropriately. When you do, you will be able to retrieve them easily. And in terms of styling, you need to be consistent with styling. You need to be consistent with styling. We have 17 people online. You better get people back online. You better get people back online. All right. I believe that those who are here have successfully filled their attendance. I believe so. I believe so. It is your responsibility to be prepared to attend class. You understand that? No one else's responsibility. To be able to attend class, no one else's responsibility. Okay, let's go. The form closes now. All right. Thank you. So far, so good. Common production errors. Inconsistent file styling affect it. Unresolved queries affect it. Late submissions affect it. Late corrections affect it. Late corrections affect it. So when you correct late, it affects what you're doing. When you submit um, issues late, problem. So unresolved queries affect it. Okay, let's go. Let's move it. All right. Now we have what we call how do I explain this now? Uh, Let me call it mindset. I've experienced it. Professionals have a mindset and they have standard. Mindset and standard help you to operate at a certain pedestal. When you have a mindset you set a standard, and this standard help you stay organized in your workflow. It help you particularly in your editorial stage. It help you build some consistency. It help you ensure that there is uniformity in your styling. It helps you to ensure that all responsibilities are knocked off. Unresolved queries are settled. You understand that? So the key insight here is that production team often spend time fixing structural problem than designing pages. If you have done this, this will be easy. This is why editorial discipline is essential. Production efficiency is a downstream of editorial quality. All right, we're coming to the end of the lecture. So now, week 5. I know you're already, by the time we get to lecture 9, this is lecture 6, you would have done some typesetting. And by the time we are delivering our lecture 12 to 13, which is about the last set of lectures, you would have designed. So this is where you will be making use of this knowledge I've shared today. So on that note, I would say, let's do this. Can you identify and put it in the chat? So far, so good in your group work, in your life experience, one production risk in your manuscript. I know you don't have manuscript yet, some of you, and some of you already have some. What if you don't know particularly, which one do you foresee or project that will happen? One formatting issue that could affect typesetting. Put it in the chat. Okay, someone asked if I could explain the last slide better. Can you be specific? When you're asking a question, you need to specifically talk about it. There, I don't know which of slide. I don't know when you're watching. You have to mention which particular slide. So now the main task for your engagement now is for you to add one risk. One risk that you can experience in your manuscripts, and one formatting risk, one formatting issue that could affect typesetting. Okay, one says inconsistent styling. Inconsistent styling. Give me more, give me more, give me more. Remember, we're still on this. How books are made. How books are made. Workflow. Formatting issues. Like a wrong margin. Like, yes, wrong margin. Lack of punctuations, yes. Good point. Good point. Good point. I'm so proud of this class, man. I'm so proud of you all. Spacing and spelling error. Yes. Lack of punctuations. Yes. Proper paragraphing issues. Yeah. Organization and inconsistent styling. Lack of punctuation. Spacing. Yes. Text alignment. Yeah. Correct. Please, guys, be taking note of this. Take note of these things. These are knowledge from your colleagues. Formatting issues that could affect us is inconsistent font usage. Yes. Using too much fonts too can cause problem. Lack of meaning or contextual error. My number one person here now today, one production risk is inconsistent styling. Okay. All right. You guys have really done well. Let's take this home. Let's take it home. Let's take it home. So, summary today. We've been able to look at how books are made. How books are made. And I hope you have been able to learn something big today. So, in all of this conversation that we've had today, can you share with me one thing that stood out for you? In all of our learnings today, can you share with me one thing that stood out for you? What is one thing that stood out for you today? So, how will you apply it to what you've learned? How will you apply it to what you've learned? Okay, let's see what we've got. Okay, I'm finding some interesting points. Okay. Seeing some interesting points there. All right, let's make that bigger. All right, one thing that stood out, okay, for me is how each row is significantly important. For instance, in production workflow, not only the production manager controls, but the editor also does. Likewise, others. Okay, that's that. You need to work on your typo, Sierra. after, or is it Sierra Cara? We ensure that in one way I live, I infuse the production triangle, which is how I spend my time, my money, my quality, and Yeah, that's good. Good, good. Apply it. Then production workflow and importance of production manager. Yeah, good, good, good. All right. What stood out is responsibility of being okay, proofreading marks. So that's not for today. System thinking, yes, that's correct. Good, good point. Good point there. All right. Formatting issues can affect typesetting. Can affect typesetting. Uh, hey, you need to put your words together. Well, better. Today I learned that cast off means. What cast off means in publishing, how it can help predict final. Yeah, that's good. Good point. Good point. I'm proud of you guys. Okay. Back to where we are. All right. So putting this off and then driving this home. Today we've been able to learn the following: that production is a structured system. We've been able to drive home the point that each role has defined responsibility. Constraints governs all decisions. Constraints governs all decision, and editorial quality determines production efficiency. You get that? It determines production efficiency. It determines production efficiency. And then we have, I've learned that production process requires, yes, good, nice. So keep that coming while I allow you to do the next important thing. Do you know what that is now? Who can guess what that is? Who can guess what's the next important thing to do? Oh, I think, No, before I go to the next most important thing, that's it. I like to reinforce this knowledge so we don't forget. I put it down. I want you to be aware that you are going to do serious production now. And it's not different from what you do in the real world. So you'll be ready for that. And please add it to your CV because it's an asset. In fact, for as many of you here, I want you to write your first CV. Draft your first CV. I'll make it I'll call it the check-in marks. You understand? That is what you use to mark your next presence in my lecture. So put your CVs together now. And what's your role will be, and start putting it together. Okay, it won't be the next, to be towards the end. So because we'd have had experience. So you tell us about your role and you put a CV together. And that CV is what you continue to build on until you are ready for the job. So I'm trying to make you understand that you should be aware about production, be aware about your capacity. I saw something just now and I like it. Yeah. I learned how production workflow works. That is a core pipeline. Manuscript handovers, copy editing, integration, typesetting, proofreading, corrections, and the final print output. Good. Well done. I know you typed that in urgency. That's a good point there. So now, coming back to where I was, I said, know that the central idea of the lecture is production, not independence editing. Understand the fact that production is a downstream system that amplifies and exposes editorial quality. If the editorial work is strong, production is smooth. The costs are controlled, timelines are stable. If the editorial work is weak, production becomes corrective. Costs increase because you have to pay for the correction. You have to reprint because you have printed error before. You run at a loss and go and borrow money, problem. So, and also delay will occur. So on this note, I say thank you for joining today's lesson. It's time for us to do what? Let's check out. Let's check out. Let's check out. So in my last lesson, I'll be looking at typography, layout mechanics, and software. I've introduced it to InDesign, so that's how we go about it. I'm not so sure how much of you want to go on with InDesign. How much do you want to learn with InDesign? Let me know and let me know what you think. If I get feedback and let your class get back to me on that, but I'll try as much as possible to see what I can do to support. So yeah, again, check out. How do you check out? Scan the QR code, fill the form, use your code to check out. You can screenshot the QR code and use it. All right, thank you. If you don't have the code, you cannot check out. You cannot share your code. It's only used once. Let me see how many people have checked out. All right. Yeah, I see. So for me, I've checked out. I know has checked out. Akinfet has checked out. Rafi Hodri has checked out. Initially, Susan has checked out. Um, yeah, you guys should check out. Let's keep checking out. Yeah, so quite a number of people haven't checked out. So check out. Okay, on this note, I would say have a very good day and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.